As we grow older, society expects us to become cynical and mature about the things we do. It teaches us to accept reality and cut ourselves away from fiction. We are still allowed to enjoy fiction, but we aren't expected to get so into it as to think of fictional characters as anything more than fictional characters. Screw that, you're not the boss of me now. Given that today is Dating Sim Appreciation Day, you probably expect me to talk about cute 2D girls or something, but the scope of this video goes beyond that. It applies to any character and even non-characters in your favorite video games. It's about our attachment to things that aren't real. If you've been following this channel for a bit, then you know that I am rather attached to some of my favorite things. I go nostalgia this and nostalgia that because it's a personal ideal of mine to never ever let go of the things that put a smile on my face. We humans are capable of feeling something special for fiction. I am not ashamed to say that I wish I could live in a place like the Pokemon world, or that I can listen to certain music for hours on end. Maybe you think I'm being stupid or childish. That's fine. There's just one critical flaw. Interactive fiction has a lack of consequence. No matter the actions you take, it will never leave the confines of the game. Have you heard the songs Rainbow Girl and Tragic Boy? Both tell the same story of a boy who plays a romance game and gets a crush on the heroine. Rainbow Girl is told from the heroine's perspective, a 2D girl who is limited to the game's story, and once the credits roll, the boy uninstalls the game, forgets about it, and moves to another. Tragic Boy is told from the boy's perspective, a 3D person who will never join her, and once the credits roll, their time together ends and her feelings are reset as if nothing had ever happened. The boy's emotions were touched by that bundle of pixels on his screen. A character as a whole might be fictional, but their dialogue was written by a human just like us. Their words were spoken by a human just like us. Their theme song was composed by a human just like us. Sure, not every game is a passion project based on the hopes and dreams of an aspiring teen. If you want a cynical point of view about all this, well, just think about how marketing affects character design. To some extent, there are cold, calculated numbers behind otherwise likable characters. If a character is to appeal to a certain audience, then it must hit their tastes in the right place. That's where archetypes come from. Maybe they have certain personality traits, or maybe the writers gave them certain vocal or visual quirks, or maybe they just gave them huge titties. That usually works too. But then again, if the character has no, let's just put it this way, soul, then we probably don't really care that much about them. And I think we are doing a huge disservice to the artists involved in the creation of the characters that we do love by disregarding them as just meaningless entertainment. I mean, do you put emotional investment into every real person you see? No, of course not. Think about store quirks. The customer comes in, asks for a product, and then the transaction is made. Isn't that pretty much the same in both real life and in video games? Sure, everything in moderation. Here in my hometown, we have a saying that goes, "Too much is like too little." Don't grow obsessed over fiction to the detriment of your own life, but closing your mind and refusing to enjoy things for what they are doesn't seem like a good thing either. Why shut down potential sources of joy just because you're arbitrarily supposed to? The growth of virtual reality will only bring up this question even more as it slowly claws away into the mainstream. The potential to completely immerse yourself in a fictional world is a very appealing concept, and VR could very well become a second life for the humans lucky enough to be alive to see it. A second life where we can be invincible and do anything. Just a few days ago, there was a video of a mother celebrating her deceased daughter's birthday in a virtual reality world. She could see her daughter smile, walk and talk once again. But with today's limited VR technology, the two still couldn't touch and hug each other. Ultimately, the only interactions allowed were the ones programmed into it. How realistic must something be for us to accept it as real? If a computer-generated world makes us feel the exact same emotions as the real world, then how is it any different? Sufficiently advanced technology is said to be indistinguishable from magic, but I would say that it can also become indistinguishable from reality. It might even overcome that critical lack of consequence one day, when AI grows to levels that we can only dream of today. And besides, isn't technology supposed to improve our lives? So many people who suffer from physical disabilities can only live a half-decent life because of technological advancements, so how dare anybody tell others what they can or can't enjoy? I'm sure that we all have things that we wish we could just forget ever happened, and there will be people seeking to exploit that for their own gain. Escapism is a very sweet thing, and sometimes it's hard to set it aside for a moment and face a reality we might not want to. A reality that might not be as kind or beautiful as the worlds in our favorite video games, but one that we have to face eventually. But that doesn't mean that you should see your attachment to the fictional as something to avoid. Don't see it as a nihilistic waste of emotional effort, or as a self-destructive tendency, or as something that leads only to sadness when you realize that your connection to a fictional entity will never cross the boundaries of the game's dialogue files. Instead, be happy that it happened. So, even if just for today, maybe boot up some game with characters you love but that you haven't played in a while. Enjoy these bundles of digital data for a bit, and relive your happy memories before the day ends and you go back to reality's drab color palettes and our mundane physical limitations. Humans might never be born with superpowers, hair spanning the colors of the rainbow, or with large bubbly eyes. And if they ever do, it will probably be considered a severe medical condition. But even so, I think we could learn something from fictional 2D pixels, because if nothing else, they remind us of what makes us human.